Welcome to either the last or second to last day, depending on how much we feel like driving today. So we're just gonna see where we end up. They sell firewood here. We should probably get some firewood. Did you see the puppy? The car next to us had a big chocolate lab.
We have traveled far, left our homes behind, packed up my favorite t-shirts and then drove 800 miles. Got up before the sun, we stopped a couple times. We're all crammed together, she's already writing rhymes. Burger joints with my friends, I hope this never ends. Daylight's fading fast and we're running out of snacks, and we all wish it could last just one more day. We tried to play a show down on Music Row, and those folks just looked at us and they said,
Hi! So this lighting is, oh, it's cute. We put the hat back on. I didn't really film much in terms of like the roads and stuff today just because it was nothing exciting. Obviously like the first few days of our road trip in general was just way prettier because the West Coast is just prettier. I mean, at least like Utah, Arizona, Colorado, all that fun stuff. We are an hour and 45 minutes from home. We're just at a rest stop. My dad wanted to get a sandwich, so he's doing that. Yeah, we're gonna just go ahead and go all the way home tonight, and I am looking forward to it. But yeah, so we'll, sir? Oh, he's gonna park right next to me. Sir, do you not see me vlogging, sir? In your giant pickup, you just hit the curb. Okay, I have nothing else to say right now. So, yeah, we're gonna go home. I'm ready. I mean, I kind of wish this lasts a few more days because, I don't know, I've really enjoyed it. It's been really cool, but I'll talk about that more in the next clip that I'll include. But for now, we're almost home. Yay. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Vroom, vroom, vroom.
Wow, our house looks kind of creepy.
Victory! That's our house! Can you even see? We made it. Oh, I want more lip gloss though. Well, here we are. It's definitely been a minute. I filmed all that road trip stuff. If you watch the road trip videos, those were in April. It is now September 1st, and yeah, my bad. Honestly, when that road trip happened, like that was the start of the most chaotic, busy months of my life. Basically from April until the end of July, beginning of August, things were just truly chaotic in the best way. Like everything was good, but it was just a lot. I mean, I came back from Los Angeles. It was a lot of, you know, apartment hunting. There was also, I flew back to California for a wedding. I had my family vacation. I had a thing with MTV going on that was just like very distracting to my mind. I was trying to see a lot of friends because people were leaving, and it's been chaos, but in the absolute best way. I'm sure I'm forgetting things. I mean, my brother's soccer season was going on, and I'm very invested in all things soccer. Me and my brother and my dad have just, soccer's been our life forever. So, but now I'm pretty much settled. I feel really good. This is my house. I mean, I didn't buy it. It's a rental, but I was lucky enough to rent a house rather than an apartment, which is a huge, huge benefit as someone who makes YouTube videos for a living. The noise is just, do you hear that? No, you don't, because there's nothing happening. It's so beautiful. So what I did, I went over on Instagram and I just posted on my story and said, if you guys have any questions about my moving process or about moving in general, let me know, and I will do a little Q&A portion. We have a lot of questions. These are all the questions that we got. I did it in orange because I've been in a very fall mood lately. I know it's only September 1st, but I've been really excited. I'm not gonna lie, this is a pumpkin coffee. I'm sorry. I just like am really excited for fall this year, more so than I ever have been. I think because I'm kind of over the heat right now. First question, is it your first place by yourself? Yes, I have lived out of my parents' home, but I've always had roommates. In Los Angeles, I had roommates. At college, I had roommates. But this is the very first time I'm living on my own, entirely by myself. And the reason that was preferable for me is again because of YouTube. It's really hard to film YouTube videos when you have roommates and they're in the house all the time and you feel really awkward about filming when people are around. Also, like any noise they make gets in the video. So, I mean, if I had to be with roommates, like I would deal with it, but I had the luxury of being able to live alone, so that is what I'm doing, and I am very happy to be doing so. Why did you originally move to LA? Long story short, I went to college for television, and my dream was always to move to Los Angeles and work in a big movie studio. That's what I wanted. I loved the movie magic, behind the scenes, sets and costumes. So that's why I moved to LA, because that was always my plan. Basically, since I was in high school, I was gonna move to LA, I was gonna work out there, and obviously that didn't entirely work out, but we'll probably get into more of that later. So yeah, I moved there to work in television, basically, is why I moved to LA. What were you doing in LA? Did you lose your job due to COVID? Yes. I was in LA starting in July of 2019, and I was applying to tons of jobs, and it was an adventure. I went on tons of interviews and got 0 jobs. I got a few like little gigs. I actually worked at the Ellen show, believe it or not, for a few days. Then in mid-February, I got a job in audience management, which was quickly ripped away from me. I think I literally worked there for 2 weeks before they emailed us and were like, actually, we're laying all of you off because there are no jobs for audience management right now. And I was like, cool. But I did work on America's Got Talent and The Masked Singer. It was just a few weeks, but it was really cool. I actually did like the job. I liked being on sets and everything. I think that was not gonna be what I was gonna do long term at all. It was just I needed money. And so that was a job that accepted me really quickly. And so I took it. Definitely got laid off from that job. I think it was like March 6th or something. Or I don't know, it was somewhere around there. It was around there that I got laid off and then flew back home, and that was that. And I really never went back except to get my stuff, so whoops. House tour. A lot of people are asking about a house tour. I don't know yet. It's definitely not really ready. I mean, you can see like basically all of it right now, but it's not really ready. I just ordered like 7 art prints today. I'm so excited. I've been like holding off on wall art because it's so expensive. It's so pricey. And today I finally said, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna splurge a little bit. Once I get everything set, I might do a tour. I might not though. I haven't decided. Where is your favorite place in Rhode Island to reflect and relax? You might not think so, but there's a lot of really beautiful like nature-y spots in Rhode Island. Of course, the beaches. We are the ocean state here, so we have tons of beaches. There's a few parks that I love. I think Newport is like one of the most beautiful places. It's also like the most touristy place. So this person said they're visiting Rhode Island or they want to visit Rhode Island. Even though it is the most touristy place, I am gonna recommend Newport because they have mansions that you can look at, which is really cool, and it's just like it's an absolutely gorgeous area that I'm beyond in love with. There's just a lot of parks and trails that I would say, like any park or trail you could go to, specifically in Newport, in Jamestown, in North Kingstown. I love going there, whether by myself, with friends, with family. Done all 3 of those in the past like 2 weeks. It's amazing, so that's what I would recommend. So, okay, the big question, I'm already seeing a few of these. Why did you move? I'll try to give the shortest version of this possible, but I did move to LA in 2019. COVID brought me back to Rhode Island in March 2020. I came home and it was my understanding when I moved back home in March 2020 that I would be headed back to my apartment in LA within a few weeks. I think that's what a lot of people thought. I think most of us thought COVID was just gonna be like, okay, a few weeks and we were gonna be done. But obviously it just kept stretching out and I kept saying, okay, I'll go back next month, I'll go back next month. And the longer I was home, the more I knew and the more I realized how much I just had no desire to go back to LA. This was something that I definitely knew prior to even coming home. Like when I was living in LA, I was very lonely. I didn't enjoy leaving my apartment because I got anxious every time I left my apartment because LA is kind of like a bit much. I think I knew for a long time I didn't want to live in LA, but because it was my dream since high school, admitting that to myself and to my family who helped me achieve all those dreams was really difficult to do. So even though I knew it deep down, admitting it to myself was nearly impossible. As late as January 2021, I was looking at new apartments in LA because I was like, I'm going back. I knew I didn't want to, but I was like, you have to go back. So I was planning on it. And then one day my dad said, like out loud, I forget exactly what he said, but he mentioned something about like, what's the point of going back since you do YouTube full time? And I was like, yes, exactly. Like I jumped on it immediately because I knew that's what I wanted. I wanted to stay home. Because I became a full-time YouTuber, that is why it was possible. If that didn't happen, going back to LA would have been a much more likely scenario because I would have needed to work, and TV jobs exist mostly in New York and LA. I'm not a New York person. I don't know, I kind of realized that wasn't what I wanted anymore. So I moved back to Rhode Island because I could, because again, doing YouTube allows me to do that from anywhere. And so I chose to be home, around family, around people I knew, around friends, and it's just 100% the correct decision for me. Like I cannot stress enough how much happier I have been. As soon as I decided I was gonna move back to Rhode Island, it just felt like this weight was lifted off my shoulders because I dreaded it. I was terrified to go back to LA. I just knew I didn't want it, but I wouldn't admit it again to myself or to anyone else. Having to go back to LA was something that was like a huge stressful feeling for me all of last year, and it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good. But finally admitting to myself and to my family that moving back here was what I wanted, just huge weight lifted off my shoulders. Then when I went out with my dad to actually get my stuff, it was like even more of a relief. Like when we arrived home, I was just like, oh my god, I'm back and I'm staying here. So that's kind of like why I moved. I hope I answered that kind of properly, but that's pretty much why I moved. And I'm happier than I have been in a long time, I think, for that. So I'm very excited to be back. Back here. I needed that. I really did. Somebody just asked, do you feel lonely sometimes? All the time. As much as I think living alone is 100% the right decision for me, especially right now, I definitely feel lonely a lot because I'm living alone, and my parents actually live like 40 minutes from me, so I visit them like weekly. One of my best friends lives near my parents, so she's also far away and she doesn't have a car yet. So it has been kind of lonely because it's pretty much just been me sitting in my house by myself. I'm doing good though, you know? So I feel lonely sometimes, but I'm okay being alone. Like not forever, please. I don't want to be forever alone, but right now I'm pretty content with my life and where things are at. So yeah, I embrace the loneliness and I read a book and I watch some movies. I watched some movies today. I had a really cozy morning actually. I sat on this couch and I watched 2 whole movies. It was a rainy morning, so I was just kind of chilling. I also didn't have anything to edit. So I was like, you know what? We're gonna relax a little, and it's been an absolutely glorious day. Do you feel more mature living alone? 100%. I think living alone, like even though it's only been a couple months so far, I feel like I've been growing a lot. I mean, I've been growing a lot. This last year has been like the year of growth for me in the best ways. But living alone, I mean, you have a lot more responsibility, especially in a house versus an apartment, just because there's more places where things can go wrong. Now, I don't have to fix them myself. I call the landlord and he'll help me out. I mow my lawn every week, which is kind of cool and fun. I don't know. I enjoy it in a weird way. I feel very responsible when I go out with my gloves and I like mow the lawn and pick the weeds and break the sticks. After the hurricane, I had tons of branches I had to break down, and like buying my own groceries entirely every couple weeks and just taking care of things. It's definitely a big example of growth for me, and I really loved it. I don't know. Was the whole process expensive? Yes, it could have been worse, quite honestly, but I have been noticing in terms of my bank account, it has not been going up much lately because all of this furniture is like new. Like I had to buy that couch, I bought this coffee table, my TV stand, I have a table, a Keurig, a microwave. Like these are all things I had to buy. So yes, it's been expensive if you're living alone and you're moving and like basically starting off for the first time, which is essentially what I was doing because I had to leave all my furniture in LA. It's expensive, but it's manageable. This is like the cheapest couch on Amazon and I actually love it. If anyone wants the link, let me know because this is a pretty decent couch, and I don't remember, I think it was like $300, which is pretty good. It also folds out into a futon, which is cool. It's the same couch I actually had in LA, but it wasn't mine in LA, it was my roommate's. She was the one who bought it. Like things like that. You just don't buy the most expensive stuff. This was like 50 bucks. Yeah, I bought pretty much everything real cheap. So terrified of moving out of my parents' home, leaving all of it behind and living on my own. It's not easy and it's scary. I'm not gonna pretend that it's not, but I think when I moved out to LA, like I learned that like you really just need to do it. Like, you just have to go for it and you will be fine. Like, you will be 100% fine. I mean, there's not much I can say other than yes, it's scary, but you just have to do it and you will totally 100% be okay, because you feel like you're never ready to make big steps, but then you do it and you're like, oh, that wasn't too bad. So, I mean, you'll definitely be fine. I promise you, you'll be okay. It is scary at first, but you figure it out and it's really exciting. It's really like brings a whole new energy to your life. So definitely like do it if that's something you're considering and you're just scared to, like, just go for it. You got this. What did you like most about LA that the East Coast lacks? The movie studios, even though like I'm not working in TV right now, I still love the way in which TV is created. I think set design is my favorite thing in the world, so like being on movie sets and TV show sets over there was awesome. I definitely am gonna miss the studios, Warner Brothers, Universal. Oh yeah, the theme parks were like right there and I could go. Disneyland was right there. I'm not gonna lie, those are things I'm gonna miss. Are you happier? Was the move worth it? I think I pretty much answered this, but yes, 100%. I feel so much better. It's crazy to think about where I was a year ago and where I am now. A year ago, I still thought I had to move back to LA and I was so sad about it. But now I'm back in Rhode Island and I'm just like thriving and feeling great about basically everything. So yeah, I'm very happy and very grateful. Packing tips, I'm trying my best, but the motivation is so hard. Depends on if you're moving somewhere where you are driving or if you are flying. Because when I moved out to LA, I flew and I did not take a whole ton of stuff. And then coming back, I was able to pack my whole car. Packing is one of those things where you can find yourself just standing in the middle of the room staring at everything and you don't want to even think about it, but you just gotta go. You just gotta start picking things up and just go. You just gotta keep moving, tell yourself not to stop moving and you get it done. But it is one of those things where like you stand there and you're like, I'm not doing this right now. There's no. And then you're left till the last minute and then you're stressing. So just do it. Just do it, you know? Was it difficult to make the decision that LA wasn't for you? I think I did answer this, but it was one of the most difficult decisions of my life, because when you think you want something for so many years and then you get there and you realize you don't want that lifestyle anymore, it's really difficult. Like I said, the hardest part about all of it was admitting to myself that that wasn't what I wanted anymore. But at the end of the day, you have to do what you know is best for you, like what your heart tells you is the right thing. Like, you have to follow your heart. I'm a follow your heart kind of person. I used to be a follow your head kind of person, but you know, times change. I knew that LA wasn't what I wanted, and I knew I went to school for 4 years to work in TV, and then I was gonna turn around and tell my parents, actually, I don't want to do that anymore. It was really difficult. One of the most difficult decisions that I have ever had to make. Probably the most difficult, to be honest with you. It was the right decision at the end of the day. So here I am back in Rhode Island, not in Los Angeles, and I couldn't be happier. Are you far away from Taylor's house in Rhode Island? Funnily enough, I actually drove by her house in Rhode Island for the very first time a few weeks ago. I actually vlogged that day and then I haven't edited it yet because I was still working on the road trip. She is in like the bottom left corner of Rhode Island. That would be what, southwest? Yeah. I don't go in that specific area that often, so I had never seen it, but I just saw it for the first time and there was security outside when I drove by and I was like, Taylor, like, you there, girl? I'm from North Kingstown, welcome back. Oh my gosh, hi. I just mentioned North Kingstown earlier. Oh my god, maybe I'll see you someday. Are people nicer in Rhode Island compared to people in California? I'm not gonna like make an overgeneralization, because there are good people and bad people in every place that you will go, so I don't know. I think the vibe of Los Angeles, there is, in a lot of the environments that I was in LA, there was a bit more of a negative energy, but I think that's because I was in Hollywood and in the TV industry, which unfortunately, like, I love the creation of TV, but it is true that it's just kind of a very heavy environment to be in. It's very cutthroat. It's just, people aren't the nicest all the time. I'm not saying there aren't nice people, because there are. It's just, it is a pretty negative environment, and working in audience management, definitely not going to get into it right now, but there are some aspects of that I quickly learned are horrible. I actually had somebody come up to me on like my 3rd day of work, and she looked at me and she's like, you seem like a really nice person. I'm going to urge you to get out of this job as quickly as you can. And I was just sitting there like, oh my god. And then within 2 weeks, I was like, I see what she means, because there are some horrible aspects of audience management that I didn't like at all. I wouldn't say like a generalization, But there was a lot of negative, cutthroat, mean, heavy energy in my industry in LA anyway that I didn't love. So yeah, but again, no generalizations because I don't think that would be fair. Greetings from Poland. Oh my god, do you love Robert Lewandowski? I'm sorry if that's a really annoying question to ask. I feel kind of gross for asking it, but that's the only thing I know about Poland is that Robert Lewandowski's from there, and apparently you too. So hi. Do you ever plan on moving back to LA? Maybe. I'm just kind of letting life take me where it intends on taking me for now. I kind of hate to say this, but obviously YouTube is not forever. I am not the kind of creator who is gonna have like a lot of longevity because I think music reactions are going to fade out. I really do believe that, unfortunately. I just think that they already have faded out quite a bit in the past couple years, I think. So I don't know. I don't know what's after YouTube, but maybe it's Los Angeles. I don't know. I'm not gonna try and like overthink it because it's just a lot of different things could happen. Did you want to move somewhere besides your hometown in California? I considered other places. I've always been drawn to Portland, Oregon. I don't know why. I didn't actually think I was gonna move there because that would kind of defeat the purpose of moving at all. I was also like thinking like surrounding areas like Massachusetts, New Hampshire, like maybe moving there. But at the end of the day, I was like, if I'm gonna move back to the East Coast, I might as well move back to like where my family is. You know what I mean? Most excited about living in a new place. So many things. I mean, being able to make a place my own entirely. Like again, I said I've lived outside of my parents' home, but I always had roommates. So for the first time, like this living room is exactly how I want it to be. My kitchen is how I want it to be. Everything is exactly how I want it to be, and it's really cool. I just love making it my own. And like in the morning I get up and I walk out here and I make a coffee and I sit on the couch and I read a book, and like my time is my own, my schedule is my own. That's one of my favorite things about living alone is your schedule is your own, is how you make it, versus like living with your family. Like you're still taking their schedules into account. Your time is your own when you live alone. So that is like probably one of my favorite things as well. What was one song that made you sure you're going to move? Whoa. That's like a really cool question, but I don't know if I have an answer. I don't have an answer right now, but if editing Caitlin comes up with something, she'll pop it up over here. She'll let you know what song it was, because there is nothing coming to me at the moment, but I'm sure there was something, like a song that like made me feel all the things. Oh my god, I hope editing Caitlin remembers, because that's a cool question. How did you find apartments? What if you live out of the state? So apartment hunting is a nightmare. So actually when I decided I was living in Rhode Island, I started apartment hunting immediately, and it's really difficult to find a place that is affordable, that is in your price range. I had 2 instances where I thought I got an apartment and then was contacted by the place and they were like, actually just kidding, we can't give you that place. That happened to me twice. I'd have 2 deposits sent back to me, which is so frustrating. Also, there's like almost always a waiting list if you're trying to get into a complex. So that's really difficult because like you want to move now, but you're going to be put on a waiting list and then you're just going to be offered like the first room that becomes available. But I was being more picky because I knew I did not want to, like I wanted to live on the top floor if it was going to be a complex, because having people above you, lots of noise. So I knew I wanted to be top floor. Location, like I did not want to be next to a pool. Because if you're next to the pool, noise. I'm very anti-noise. Have you noticed? There's a lot of places where it's like you can live in somebody's like side house, and I didn't love the idea of that either, and trying to get tours with places, and then you have to put, like a lot of places put that like a fee down as like what the rent is monthly, but then they're like, oh, plus $150 a month for amenities. I'm like, are you kidding me? There's so many hidden fees, then you have to think about like heat and water. Listen, apartment hunting is my least favorite thing in the world. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you are doing it, good luck. It sucks. That's all I can say. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be that person, but oh my god, it's awful. What were your go-to songs while moving? I think the very first album I actually put on when I was like in this place, I think I forget what I was doing that day. I think I was just unpacking. I put on Folklore, and it was really cool to listen to Folklore, which is one of my favorite albums of all time, and not be sad while listening to it. Because if you know me and you know my music reaction channel, Folklore was like the saddest album of all time when I first listened to it because of the things that I was experiencing. But now I can listen to the album from start to finish and not cry and not feel sad, and that's amazing because I never thought that would be the case for me. I thought Folklore will be an album I will never be able to listen to again because it makes me so sad. But yeah, actually Folklore was the first album I listened to when I moved in here, and I was really happy, and that's just so cool to me. And I'm just, oh, I love that album, and I love that I can love that album and not be sad. That's so cool. Also, that's a folklore blanket. You probably can't tell. I think Taylor's on the other side of the couch, but yeah. What are some must-haves for moving out, apart from the obvious ones such as furniture and cleaning supplies? The best that you can do, this is what I did. I moved in, and I didn't officially move in until I got my mattress. Once I had my mattress, I was like, I can figure this out, because I had my computer here already, and like the internet was all set. You kind of just have to move in and then slowly figure out the things you're missing. Like, you can look at a packing list online, and that'll give you all the essentials, and then like you'll realize like, oh no, I forgot this thing when you need it. That's kind of how it's gonna work. Like a fly swatter. There was a bee in the house, and I was like freaking out. I was like, I don't have a fly swatter. Scissors was one of the first things I realized I was missing. Gardening tools, because I'm in a house. Lots of little things that you're gonna realize once you move in that you're just like, oh, I needed that. It would be impossible for me to sit here and tell you what those are. I'm looking around because I'm like, do I know of anything off the top of my head? I think the list will give you the stuff that you really need, and then you kind of realize a bunch of other things later on. Do you prefer wall-to-wall carpets or a wooden floor? Wooden floor with a rug. That's my go-to. Carpet just scares me because stains, like you can get stains on it and all that loveliness. Did you miss your hometown or did you want to escape LA? Wow, that's kind of a deep one. Honestly, it was a mix of both, but it was more escaping LA because like I said, I was considering moving to Massachusetts, to New Hampshire. At one point, Portland, Oregon was on the list. I was kind of considering moving anywhere but Los Angeles. So yeah, it was more of an escape LA thing, but I got the best of both worlds, escaped Los Angeles, went back home, feeling 10 times more comfortable and happy and good about everything. How are your parents about the move? Did they support you? Yeah, they were really, really supportive, and I think part of why it took me so long to admit it and say it out loud was because I was scared, because they helped support me through college so that I could move to Los Angeles, and then they helped me move to LA, and then suddenly I'm like, actually, just kidding. And they were very supportive, and I'm very grateful for that because I was scared. I was like, oh god, they're gonna kill me, but you know, it ended up okay. Do you have any of your friends in your hometown? I do. It does kind of suck because I was thinking about this the other day. I have like about 5 or 6 best friends, right? One lives in Rhode Island. The others are in New York, Michigan, Florida, California. My brother I would consider one of my best friends, and he now lives in Indiana. So like, unfortunately, like most of my close friends, they're everywhere. So it's not like I could move to where all my friends are because my friends are all over the country. But one of my best friends, like my earliest best friend, does live in Rhode Island still and is staying here. So luckily I do have her. And that is actually all of the questions that I got up to this point. I hope that if you are in the process of moving, this helped you out. Feel free to ask more questions in the comments, by the way, because I will try to answer them if I can. If you are in the process of moving, you can do it. It's so overwhelming and scary and stressful, but at the end of the day, like, you will be okay. You will be able to do it. You're going to be fine. I promise. I spent most of my life being the most dependent person in the world, and I was terrified of being on my own and being independent, and then you just do it and you're fine. It seems so much scarier than it really is, so I promise you can do it if you're in the process of doing the whole moving thing. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm planning on doing more videos on this channel coming in the next few months. Not gonna make promises though, because I've done that before and then I don't make videos for this channel and it gets abandoned for months. I don't want that to be the case. My other channel just takes up so much of my time, which does kind of suck sometimes because as much as I do obviously love that channel, I want to spend more time here because I get to be a little more creative and have a little more fun and do things that are not just sitting in my office listening to music. So I hope to create more videos for you guys here. I just want to thank you guys so much for being here, for hanging out with me here on my living room floor. I'm gonna go back to listening to Stranger in the Alps now. I'm seeing Phoebe Bridgers in a few weeks, and I've been listening to her music a lot, and it's just so beautiful, and I'm excited to sit here and listen to it now. So yeah, I don't know why I told you that, but anyway, thanks for being here, guys. Also, guys, if you want to like and subscribe, you can like and subscribe. If you don't want to, that's okay. I won't judge you. That's totally fine with me. I just appreciate you being here at all. So thank you again. Leave comments below if you have questions, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.